Hello, this is Pauline Jennings. Welcome to Musician Talk. My guest today on Musician Talk is Wendy Smith. Wendy has called Northfield home for the past 20 years. She's a versatile singer, instrumentalist, songwriter, and bandleader who designs sound and has composed for both theater and film. She performs as a solo artist with her band, the Zillionaires, and with her husband, Dave Drentlaw, as half a Zillion. I think it's time to find out more. Let's talk to Wendy Smith. Hi, Wendy.
Hello, Pauline.
It's really great to see you.
You too.
Yeah, thank you. So I've been trying to chronicle, at least with musicians, what they've been doing since March and the pandemic started, and what you and your family, what you've kind of been going through since March.
Stopped all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yes. The last gig we did was Leap Day, February 29th. After that, things would just get canceled one after another. At first it was a gradual thing where you think, well, okay, is it going to work? Can we play at the end of the week? Are we good? Right. Nope, can't do that. Oh, can't do next month either. Oh, can't do that next month either. And then all the gigs dry up. So
it's like serial disappointment, one after the other. That's
right.
That's
it's disappointing for me, and I'm disappointed for my friends who have clubs and venues and seeing those struggle.
It is so sad. I mean, it's not just that we don't have a place to play now because we can't, but it's also so many places that maybe you used to play in that are going to be closed after this is all done. How about with your family? How's everybody doing with it and your kids?
I think they're figuring out what life looks like now or for the foreseeable future.
Right.
They're doing all right.
Good to hear. Mm-hmm. And how about creatively? Do you find that this time of not playing out compelled you to new and different creative ideas musically?
In some ways it has. As I go through my days, I do a lot of processing of thoughts and experience with music.
Sure.
I think of it as my little in-home daily opera as Wendy goes about her activities. And that in some ways, it's a little more free again, I think, having more space in my life. I haven't embarked on a lot of projects. I've had a few interesting projects during this time period, but I don't feel that COVID times has brought me to specific projects that I wouldn't have come to otherwise.
Sure. Wendy, I want to take you way back. Do you remember the first time you sang?
When I was little, I sang pretty much all the time. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of musical memories from being a child. It seems to me, my mom said I sang before I talked. Is that possible?
Yes.
I remember going to school in first grade, and apparently I would do singing in various imitations. And I remember when I got to first grade at the new school, and I met the teacher, Mrs. Diffley, and she said, "Oh, hello, Wendy. I hear you have a special song you can sing. Let me bring in the other teachers and sing this song." And I remember standing there singing Mrs. Miller songs for them. Wow. Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket. So I was a little kid doing that, and it was really fun. I liked doing that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Did you sing a lot when you were little?
Oh, I did. And I would put on shows. We had a little low in front of the fireplace. We didn't have a mantle, but there's a low thing in front of the fireplace, just the right size and, for a stage for a 7-year-old.
I know that place because I had one too.
I remember... There's my snort. I remember singing Delta Dawn, and of course, not really understanding what was about. For some reason, I loved Helen Reddy. How about you? What would you'd act too?
Yes, as a child, I also was an actor.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, lots of shows down in the basement. Lots of wrangling neighborhood kids to do things. Circuses in the backyard with wild cats underneath milk crates, so it was like the caged lions, and lots of shows.
Okay, now take me through your journey, a little bit, your musical journey, if you could. So you were singing as a child. Did you join band in elementary school? Did you join choir?
Yes, I was a band kid.
You were.
I was a band kid. I played the
Which
flute band.
flute?
I am a huge fan of school band and
Mm-hmm.
school music programs, elementary music programs. I loved it. Miss Manzini, our music teacher, would come to the room, and I remember really clearly the flip charts to learn rhythms, and then we'd have the auto harp, and we'd get to play the auto harp, and I was fortunate to have one at home, so I could sit and play the auto harp when I was a child, because they can be simple to play. They can also be more complicated, of course, like many instruments. And then learning how to play the recorder, and then having the opportunity to be in bands. And I love school music programs. I think they are really, really important for children and for the adults who we become.
Why do you think they're important?
Oh, community, self-expression, learning how to work with others, having something to offer of yourself. Lots of societal benefits to music programs, but also cognitive benefits to music programs. They really affect the whole child, the whole person,
Exactly.
physically, emotionally, socially, intellectually. You think about a child being in a music program, and yes, I go in there with my little flute case each day and unhook, open the case, put together my flute, sit down in my chair. I'm the individual. I'm in a group of other people that are playing the flutes. There's the clarinets. There's these other things. So we're the individual, we're the larger group, and then we're the entire group of the band that we're a part of, or the orchestra, or the choir. It's good for people to realize that we are part of a larger group.
It is. Did you start just picking up other instruments as you got older, or did you start taking lessons on other instruments? How did that work out with all these instruments that you play?
We had a piano in the house all the time. I think every house needs a piano. So I played a little piano, school band, playing the flute. I think my brother might have had a guitar in the house, and maybe I strummed it some. Well, I played the harmonica a little bit when I was little, because they also had some harmonicas. So I learned, guitar. I took that up after when I was late teens.
Speaking of late teens, what kind of things did you do in high school? Did you have like a madrigals group? Did you do that kind of thing, or what was there a jazz band, or what kind of?
No, I dropped out of band after
You
ninth
did.
grade. So I dropped out of band before high school.
I did too.
Did you?
played
What did you play
sax.
in band?
Sax, ninth grade. I had to choose between choir and band, and I picked choir. I should have picked band, but can't go back, can we?
Pauline,
Yeah.
you know what? You can start playing the piano now.
I know, and I tell other people that all the time. I've tried. I guess I don't really want to, because if I really, really wanted to, I would. So
Well,
that's something. I don't know what that is, Wendy.
I just had a discussion with someone about this yesterday, in fact. They were saying that there's things that they want to do, but they just don't know why they're not doing it. And then we talked about that idea of, if you really wanted to do it, you would be making time for it. And I think actually, I think there have been times in my life where I've beaten myself up thinking that indeed was the case, if I
Sure.
really wanted to do something. But I also think it's an element of just learning and training ourselves to do what it is that makes us resonate and feel good, feel healthy.
I thank you for that. I'd have to take lessons, though. I would need that discipline, that enforced discipline, personally.
It's also great to have somebody to do something with. Like Pauline, you just said something about like, I need to take lessons in order to do something. Did you say, is that what you had said?
I think in order to have the discipline, right. Yeah.
But another element of that is that you're then able to bounce things off another person, and it becomes a team effort instead of just the individual off there plunking away by themselves. Sometimes that's very satisfying, and that's what we want. I enjoy that, but other times we really need to get that feedback from another person.
I think that is so important. I know I love doing that with Pam, singing with her for so many years. It just made it so much more enjoyable because we would work on songs ourselves, just the two of us. We would bring it to a band, and there's something about that is priceless. Now back to you. So, okay. What did you do in high school, extracurricular wise, music wise, or theater wise?
I would play on my own. So I am a person that kept playing my flute on my own. I'd play a lot at home. I had older siblings, and I was fortunate that I had brothers who would come home and give me record albums and say, hey, you play with this, play with that. And so I learned early on to put on records and play with them.
I think that's so cool that with your older siblings did that and support and encouraged you like that. When did you start playing professionally?
In college.
What instrument?
I was singing and played some guitar and flute, both. I'd sing and play flute, or I'd play guitar. And I mean, I did all those things, I guess, in bands.
And when was your first band that you joined? How old were you?
Back to the flute again. I played my flute like on the street when I was young.
Oh, wow.
Youngish, before I was in a band. Then different people I knew from college, we just put together a little band, and I played in the band, or I sang in the band. So I kind of had 3 bands in college. One of the bands I played in was called Waxed Beans, and we'd play every week at this little dive bar on Lake Street. And it was so fun.
Was there a point in your life after college where it started to be a bigger part of your life, or maybe it already was in college, where you were actually making money doing it, that kind of thing?
I've always juggled a lot of things in my life, and I played music for a while, and then I was also doing theater at the same time, and I started doing more theater, and I would do music in theater. So I'd play for shows or act in shows and play for the shows, and then started doing sound design and things for shows. So I was much more involved in theater than playing out in bands.
When you say sound design, how do you describe that? What is that?
It's making, for the theaters I would work for, was making soundscapes for shows. Sometimes sound design is a thing like, okay, we want to make sure that sound of the screeching tires can be heard by the audience members. And so then there's a recording and you press screech tires and it goes, Aah! Got it. So I do some of that, but the theater I worked for, it was Red Eye Collaboration, more of an experimental theater. And I would do soundscapes, so more of a cinematic soundscape to put behind plays.
Like a soundtrack, kind of?
Kind of a soundtrack, yeah.
That's cool. How did you get into that?
I was working at a theater with someone who was doing another show with another theater, and they needed an accordion player. And I was playing accordion in that show along with other things. And so she said, asked me, hey, do you want to work on the show? They need somebody, you should talk to them. So I called them up, and then I worked on that show, and then just continued to work on shows with those people.
So you were really involved with theater and doing music in theater after in your adult life. And then when you moved to Northfield, how did you enter the music community here?
I knew people. My band, the Zillionaires, was playing. We had been playing for a while in the Twin Cities, so I kept playing gigs with them. And then got involved playing with other people, and just, kind of the same thing. You meet people.
There. Yeah. I want to talk about your first song that you chose for today for us to listen to, and that is called Oh My Stars.
The author, Lorna Landvik. She has, one of her books is called Oh My Stars, and a couple of years ago, somebody wanted to make a short film of it, and Lorna asked me to do the music for it, the movie. So I wrote songs to be in the movie in various spots, but Lorna always had this idea of a line. She had a little motif, oh my stars, and that was always in her head, and she wanted that to be in a song. And then she had other ideas of some lyrics for the song, and wanted me to take those ideas and see if we could make a song. So that's what came of it. And it's used as the title track, as the closing credits in the song. It was released just pre-COVID and has been in film festivals, and it's done pretty well in film festivals. It's winning different awards, which is great. It's lovely. The director, Cynthia Ulrich, did a very nice job, and the cinematography, it's very nice.
What a great collaboration.
She's a good friend. Yeah. And she's super brilliant, fun, creative, and prolific, which is.
I love her books. She's one of my favorite authors, and I have read Oh My Stars, but it's been very, very many years. Who's playing on the song?
This song is, I played it on guitar and I'm singing, and I went to Craig Wasner's. You know Craig.
I do.
And Craig played piano.
I think that almost everybody that's been on the show has said Craig's name. I think everybody in town has played with him or recorded out there.
Yeah, Craig, I think, has helped and worked and friended and encouraged a lot of people, all sorts of people. He does that with everybody he meets.
Yes,
it's amazing.
Generous soul.
He is very generous soul. And he is playing piano. He put the recording together, and we took the tracks. I took the tracks over to Brent Sigmuth in Cannon Falls, and he mixed them down for me.
All right. Let's listen to this song. It's called Oh My Stars, and performed and written by my guest, Wendy Smith.
Oh, my stars, the beauty of this place, the wonders I can't see now that I've seen you. Oh, my stars, what sheer delight, my dreary days have never shone so bright. Well, I never knew what love was till I lay in your arms. I never saw stars above me till I felt your charms. Oh, my stars, the beauty of this world, the mystery of all that is, all because of you. I never heard a love song drifting by on the breeze. I never heard the music rustling through the trees. Oh, my stars, the sweet refrain I hear, enchanting melodies whenever you are near. Oh, my stars, what a beautiful view, what a beautiful world, what a beautiful you.
This is Musician Talk, hosted by me, Pauline Jennings, and you just heard the song Oh My Stars, so beautifully sung and whistled by my guest, Wendy Smith. I love the feel to the song, and you're wonderfully bending those jazzy notes is just totally appealed to me. I love that. And your tones are so crisp and clear. Nicely done.
Thank you.
So I have a question about jazz improv and vocal jazz improv. Are you a jazz improviser vocally?
I improvise, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a question about that. Do you feel that you need to hear the note before you get there? How do you know what notes to sing when you're improvising over a melody?
I think it's more of going down a path. Like if I was on a little walk, I'm not saying, I'm going to see a tree with this type of leaves. And then I open my eyes and I see that tree. I see the tree. You know, you just go down the path vocally and it's going someplace. And because I know how to walk, I'm probably not going to trip on the path. I might trip. If I do trip, I probably know how to catch my balance. If I don't catch my balance and fall down, hopefully I'm able to get back up. It's a whatever I do, but it's something like that, I guess.
If you're singing a song that you're copying the melody of, you know what those notes are already. They're already there. You've sung them a million times or rehearsed them. But when it's improv, to me, you have to know so much more about what you're doing. Maybe that's it. You have to know the scale that you're in, and you have to know all the notes that are in that scale so that you don't hit a bad one. So to me, it takes so much more thought. And then maybe I'm getting in the way of myself. Perhaps that's a problem. I'm not sure.
Maybe we should do a session.
Maybe we should. So we kind of talked already about music and how it matters when you're involved as a child. I'd like to just, from a kind of a macro sense, or micro if you want to get into it, a sense of how music has mattered in your life.
I like the power of music to tell stories. I think story is very important, and music can do that.
Yeah. Well, that's a great segue, actually, to your next song. I Sing a Song of America. That is telling a very specific story. And not only that, it is, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, I feel it as a protest song a la Pete Seeger or Woody Guthrie, that you're telling the truth of what's really going on in our world, as harsh as it might be. Do you see it that way?
Well, I wrote this song at the very end of January. I could actually figure out exactly what date it was because I went downtown and saw a couple friends and I shared with them the song right after I wrote it. Because I was listening to what was going on in the House of Representatives of our country and thinking about what was happening in Washington at that time. And I was saddened at what I was hearing about our country and mind boggled at where it was like democracy was being thrown out the window. And I thought about what our country is, what it's meant to be, what it has been, what the people who founded our country aspired, their aspirations for what a democracy was. I thought about how we have a republic. If we can keep it, we got to work to keep our democracy. So that's what inspired the song.
Well, that's a perfect setup. Thank you for that. Let's listen to I Sing a Song of America.
I sing a song of America, land of the free, home of the brave. It's what we're supposed to be. Now we're standing for the flag and the swag. It's red, white, and blue. But the principles of justice, truth, and liberty no longer ring true. Beautiful for spacious skies, clouded with these lies. Mountains high above the plains, God knows what will remain. Our leaders' scowling faces, pompous words rewriting the rules. A game of sport for some, dirty work is done not all of us are fools. Let's talk serving country, signing up to risk it all, dying in the street, and cowards have a seat, sheltered from a fall. Beautiful for spacious skies, clouded with lies, mountains high above the plains, God knows what will remain. I sing a song of America, land of the free, home of the brave. It's what we're supposed to be.
This is Pauline Jennings, and you're listening to Musician Talk. My guest today is Wendy Smith, who wrote and performed the song you just heard called I Sing a Song of America. Thank you. I love it. It sounds great. You sound great. The words are poignant and true. Leaders rewriting rules, the dirty work that's going on, and you sang to my heart. Thank you. So songs like these that are about the current state of affairs, exposing truths and lies, they seem to be effective as a medium to telling those stories. Why do you think so?
I'm translating the human experience into a song. And hopefully through that, we maybe recognize ourselves or we recognize others, and then that can help us to maybe build relationships with others, or to find comfort in recognizing ourselves through these songs, to know that others feel the same way, or maybe have experienced similar things, or that others understand.
That totally makes sense. Wendy, I want to finish up with where you're playing in the near future and where people can find your music.
Not many gigs. I'll be playing outside at Armory Square in October, on Friday, October 23rd. Cafe Sean is serving food, and Armory Square has a full bar. It's a great place to sit outside.
So we need to mark our calendars, October 23rd, to go down to Cafe Sean to see you play and sing. And Thank you so much, Wendy, for being on the show today. I really had a lot of fun. It was great to see you and catch up.
Thank you, Pauline. It was really fun to be here and talk with you.
You can find the two songs you heard today on musician streaming sites like Spotify. To check out and follow Wendy and her musical projects, go to Wendy Smith Sound on Facebook. While there, look up Oh My Stars movie to find out more about the Lorna Landvik movie we discussed. And watch for the Zillionaires playing around town. This terrific, talent-filled group includes Wendy, Mike Legvold, Dave Drentlaw, and Peter Nelson. Thank you so much to Wendy Smith for the terrific conversation and sharing some of her thoughtful insights with us today. And as always, big and many thanks to all of you listening to Musician Talk on KYMN.